Hi, have you ever written a proposal or done a paper or done a research and then the editor or the supervisor or the reader told you that actually your objectives and your background do not align? Sometimes when such comments come, you feel like either the supervisor or the reader or the editor is just being petty and like they are being stubborn and they just want to frustrate you. But actually, when you see such a comment, it means there's a very huge mistake, and that is the mistake I want us to correct today. So when you are informed that your background and the research objectives do not agree or are two different things, you are supposed to know that actually the way you approached your background is maybe out of the topic or out of the themes that are in your objectives. So this is how we make sure that our background aligns with the objectives. Number one, you write your background after you have identified your objectives. This is one mistake most of the students and people do, that you proceed to writing the background and then you start thinking about the objective. But ideally it's supposed to be vice versa. Why this is the case, it's because it's the objectives that gives you the themes that you discuss in the background. So you realize if you have three objectives, then you have three themes that are supposed to be reflected in your background. And I'm going to give you an example using a historical topic that we are going to use to elaborate on how this background should look like. So for example, you are doing a study on the evolution of the marriage institution among the Akamba of Machakos County between 1850 to 2010. And the first objective is to examine how the marriage institution was done, all the significance of the marriage institution. Let's say you want to look at the significance of the marriage institution among the Akamba in the pre-colonial period between 1850 and 1901. And maybe number two, you want to examine how colonialism impacted the marriage institution among the Akamba between 1901 to 1963. And maybe finally, you want to look at how modernity has impacted the marriage institution among the Akamba of Machakos County between 1964 to 2010. So those are just love objectives, although they are so long. And you realize that from those three objectives, we have three themes. The first one is the significance of marriage institution in the pre-colonial period. The second one is the impact of colonialism on the marriage institution. And the third one is the impact of modernity on the marriage institution. Those are the three themes. So when you write the background, these are the three themes that are supposed to be reflected in every paragraph of every country that you will be discussing. So the background normally is in a funnel format. You start from the global, then you come to regional, then local, then demonstrate that there's a problem that has not been addressed in your study location with regard to the theme under discussion. So when you come to the objectives, to the background, using the same themes that we have discussed, I will go to, for example, to the US and look at how was the marriage institution done and what was its significance before the USA got colonized. And then I will look at how did colonialism of the US impact on the marriage institution. And then I will look at how has modernity influenced the marriage institution in the US. So once I've discussed those three themes about the US, I will move to the next paragraph. Maybe look at the marriage institution maybe in Latin America. I could choose a community or a country in Latin America and see how was it done and what was its significance in the pre-colonial period, how did colonialism impact on it, and how has modernity influenced it, all impacted on it. Then I will move maybe to India. Then I will discuss the same themes in one paragraph. So you realize one country forms a paragraph and all those three themes are chronologically discussed in each of those paragraphs. So you realize that by the end of the day, you will move from global and then maybe come to Africa. In Africa, you would look at maybe maybe the marriage institution and how it has evolved from the pre-colonial period to modern times, from in a community maybe in Ghana, then you go maybe you look at one in Central African Republic, like that. The ones that you get information available about, and then you come down to now Kenya. Once I'm in Kenya, I will go to different communities. Maybe I look at the marriage institution among the Gusii, then I look at the marriage institution among the Agikuyu, among the Luo, with those three themes, the way we did in the global, then regional, then now in Kenya. Then I come to nearer home now, Kamba. I'll say, I will demonstrate now that among the Akamba, there's this particular aspect that is unique about their marriage institution, but maybe there's very little scholarly attention that has been granted to this discussion from a historical perspective. And now this is where your research is coming in. So you see, by the time you finish that background, somebody will know that the marriage institution globally is evolving. How it was done during the pre-colonial period to colonial and to modern times is either evolving or it is there are some changes, there are some continuities. And somebody will know that these are the major themes that you wanna examine in your objective. So by the time somebody finishes your background, you could have a... So you see, by the time somebody will come to the end of your background, could know the themes, all the variables that are in your objectives, and at the same time, it could have also had an hint of what exactly your problem is that warrants a study. So you see, next time when you will be writing your background, ensure that it matches the themes in your objectives, and that editor or a lecturer or a supervisor or a reader will actually say nothing about it that it's not aligning. I hope we have learned. See you next time.